All right, now while we was all caught up with Delphi, we had some shit going on with the Idaho 4 case. Guys, something was really strange as we saw a hearing for the Idaho 4, and it was to remove the death penalty. Now, I get it. Ann Taylor has to throw everything against the wall to see if something sticks. But I watched this, and I got to admit, it was really weird seeing them talk about killing Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger's an innocent man right now, and he's not found guilty. But I get it; you had to do it. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get into this story. Bring it back. What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time. Now, before we get started, let me first and foremost say thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Hell, any of my channels, regardless of platform, regardless of method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truth is, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do for the last 18 years on all these different channels, man. If it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And if you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel, show some love today. Guys, you can also find the links to my other content, by the way, down there if you want to check it out. I have 24 different channels. All right, let's go ahead and get into this because the last video we did was pretty long, so I'm going to try to get through this somewhat pretty quickly. Guys, let's go here. Idaho murder suspect. Bryan Kohberger gets no-nonsense warning from the judge over potential death penalty. Accused quadruple killer Bryan Kohberger received a stern warning from the judge newly assigned to his case as he tries to eliminate the lingering threat that he could face the death penalty if convicted. By the way, I thought their argument against the death penalty was completely stupid. Don't get me wrong, because I know some of you guys are half retarded. I'm not saying by any means I think Bryan Kohberger will be found guilty or should be found guilty. But I think the argument against the death penalty was completely stupid. This was, and I'm going to go over it, we're going to talk about it a little bit. This was Ann Taylor just throwing some shit against the wall to see if it sticks, right? It just really was, man. Talk about the firing squad is unconstitutional. No, it's not. It's in 5 different states. It's not unconstitutional at all. And then she was like, well, but it's cruel to make Bryan Kohberger wait if there's no way to kill him. They do have a way to kill them. They do have the chemicals. Somebody in Idaho was scheduled to be killed just last week. So her entire argument was fucking stupid. But it was just fucking stupid. But I get it. She had to do it. She has to do this type of shit. It was just a stupid argument. I give her all the love in the world for throwing everything, for trying everything. I do. I've never seen anybody file as many motions as she has. Anyways, in court on Thursday, his legal team had a laundry list of reasons they did not think the death penalty should be on the table for this case. I disagree completely. I believe that murdering 4 people in cold blood is a death penalty case. And by the way, once again, I'm not saying Kohberger did it. I'm saying if it's proven that Bryan Kohberger did it, if it's proven anybody did it, whoever it's proven, if it is proven, murdered these 4 kids, yeah, I believe they should be put to death. Just like in Indiana, whoever killed the 2 girls should be put to death. I am a staunch death penalty believer. I believe wholeheartedly, if you can let these whores run around here and murder their kids legally with abortion, then yes, we should be able to murder. It's not even murder, but kill murderers. I believe that once you kill multiple people, you're a menace to society, and chances are you would do it again. Once again, I'm not saying I put Kohberger necessarily in that group. I know there's retards that won't understand what I'm saying. But I know the leftists are like, we don't want the death penalty. Well, I don't get it. Nobody gives a shit what you want. Trump won. Oh, fucker. Nobody gives a shit what y'all want. Clearly. The whole country is red. Red, 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 red. And just like their beds were wet red when the people brutally murdered them. And so whoever brutally murdered them, if it is Kohberger, deserves to die the same. Whoever did it deserves to die the same. Anyways, let's see. But you got to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the point of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. At the conclusion of the last-ditch argument, which stated the death penalty does not reflect international law, I don't give a fuck what they do in Pakistan or where the fuck, and modern-day standards of decency, that's just a liberal argument. Don't turn me against Kohlberger, bitch. That's a liberal argument. That's some bullshit. It goes against international law. Who gives a fuck if the French faggots do it or not? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if the UK does it? We do it. We like to do it. We do that type of shit here in America. Better than us paying for you to sit in jail for fucking, which they tend to sit in jail for 20 years anyway. And she says it does not reflect international law and modern day standards of decency. Judge Stephen Hitler had a no-nonsense response. Good job, Hitler. I understand the argument, he says. He said it's fallen about as flat as you would expect it to fall. That's exactly right. Conservative states, trust me, we're all for the death penalty, and we should be. He'd spent 4 hours listening to a host of reasons the defense opposed the death penalty in this case. While he has officially taken all the motions under advisement, he strenuously questioned and pushed back as many of the claims made in the Kohlberger's defense. Kohlberger appeared in plain clothes, dark suit, bright blue dress shirt, and striped tie for the hearing on Thursday after making a request to the court that he forego prison attire. Good. I'm glad they're letting him come in suits. That's great. He had successfully argued his trial, scheduled to begin with jury selection on July 30th, should be held outside the small town, which we already know, Ada County in Boise, Idaho. Kohlberger's attorney said it would be dehumanizing to leave him on death row while Idaho does not have a current real means of... who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if it hurts his feelings? If he did it, I'm not saying he did it, but who gives a fuck? If you did it, bro, ain't nobody got time to worry about how dehumanized and how sad it makes you feel, brother. Once again, I'm not saying Kohlberger did it, but if you did, motherfucker, ain't nobody got time to worry about. Facts don't give a fuck about your feelings, bro. Now you Kamala voting motherfuckers. Idaho last executed a death row inmate in 2012. Well, maybe time for another. It is important for the court to understand pain and suffering. I don't believe our Constitution allows to make him sit on death row. Get your fucking ass out of here, Ann Taylor. The way Idaho is doing things now, it's really not working. It's not a realistic option to have him sit on death row and say Idaho's going to figure out how to kill you at some point in the future in a way that isn't cruel and unusual and a violation of rights. This is bullshit. Look, man, let me tell you, I'll make the argument for the courts right now, for the state right now. Bro, all you need to worry about in the court system is whether you sentence somebody. Listen, the jury only needs to worry about sentencing you to death, convicting you and sentencing you to death. It's up to the state how they put you to death. It's already been established that it is going to be by lethal injection, and if there is no method for lethal injection, if they do not have the chemicals, then you will go to the firing squad. That's the way this shit works. This is what, see, man, I hate to argue against Ann Taylor and these people, but this is some weak sauce shit. This is some weak shit. And listen, all you people, I get it. I don't want you to defend this as if you're defending Brian Kohlberger. This is about defending the death penalty. And I think most of us can agree that if someone murdered 4 fucking innocent people, they should be put to death. Most of us. I figure there's not going to be too many people that don't believe in the death penalty watching me because they're probably still crying about the goddamn election, screaming, making ticker-tocker videos, crying in their own shit. Like Richard Allen was. Anyway, that too soon? Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. The defense is relying on a belief that Idaho's preferred methods of execution, lethal injection, is not readily available due to nationwide shortages. And after authorities were unable to find a vein to administer the injection to death row inmate Thomas Creech. However, as it stands, Idaho can execute inmates via the firing squad. Taylor said that anxiety and fear and not knowing how he will die should be a factor in ruling out the death penalty. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to hurt his self-esteem. Says when we're talking about the recent history and what happened in Idaho, there are problems, real problems. It doesn't work. How is it fair? How is it fair for somebody to have to sit there and wait for the Idaho to figure it out? They've already figured it out. They said the firing squad. The judge came back strong. He said, you're saying take the death penalty off the table because the current methods, in your view, are either unavailable or unconstitutional. But the reality is, if he's convicted, we know it's going to be a decade plus before it's carried out. That's exactly right. Who knows what methods are going to be then? Who knows what technologically is going to be available at that time? Beyond the method itself, the defense argued that Kohberger had to sacrifice his constitutional right to a speedy trial in order to guarantee effective legal counsel. They say this should also warrant the death penalty being struck. See what they're trying to do? And look, man, here my feeling about this situation is they're going to appeal. It's going to be a long time. If Kohberger gets found guilty, he's going to be sitting in there for about 20 years. He's going to exhaust all his appeals, which he should. And at the end of exhausting everything, if it's proven that he did it, bro, it's time to take that ride. It's time. Just because I believe Kohberger's innocent doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm like, nah, man, we got to get rid of the death penalty. Nah, man. If they prove in a court of law that you absolutely killed these 4 girls, you need to go. You need to go. And nobody gives a fuck if it hurts your self-esteem while you're waiting on nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. And don't sit here and worry about how the state is going to kill you 20 years from now, bro. It's good they're going to do it. The point of the trial is to find out if someone's guilty or not and sentence them to death. If you are condemned to death, then they start worrying about how it's time to carry out that sentence. I'm not buying this bullshit at all. And you guys shouldn't either.
This morning, with their client's life on the line, Bryan Kohberger's defense team makes an attempt to have the death penalty taken off the table.
All rise. This court is now in session.
Attorneys for the man accused of brutally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death, arguing that the prosecutor's insistence on the death penalty violates both the Constitution
it does
and
not.
Kohberger's rights.
No, libtards. It does not violate anybody's constitutional rights, anything like that. We have death penalties all over this country. It has been established by the Supreme Court. It is perfectly constitutional and okay, and it's the law of the land that we can engage in capital punishment.
Defense team throwing literally everything, including the kitchen sink, to try to get the death penalty off the table.
In the state of Idaho, execution by firing squad is permitted.
That's right.
If lethal injection drugs are not available.
That's right.
His defense team pointing to that directly, saying lethal injection is not viable.
The defense is arguing that the inability to choose, but being forced to have a firing squad, is a violation of Bryan Kohberger's 8th Amendment for cruel and unusual punishment.
No, it's not. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. By the way, I feel this is real cringe and weird that we're arguing this while Kohberger's innocent.
Kohberger, now facing trial in Boise, hundreds of miles away from where the 2022 murders of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin took place. Kaylee's parents frustrated with the venue change and pace of the court.
This whole community has been victimized by this person. And they deserve to have a hand in part of the healing and the justice.
Do you feel like justice is not being served because this is taking so long?
I feel like we're being patient, but as a consequence of that, we should be able to keep it here.
The defense, who says Kohberger is innocent, successfully argued that Kohberger would not have an impartial jury in Moscow, citing extensive media coverage tainting the jury pool.
Bryan Kohberger's defense team filing 13 different motions as they try to prove that the death penalty is unconstitutional. They note an ideological shift in this country, and they push back hard on the new law signed by
Man, nobody cares if there's an idea. What do you mean? And what do you mean there's an ideological shift in this country? No. Most people want to conserve what this country is. We get it. There's a lot of progressive weirdos running around. But no, man. No. You're in a state where the death penalty is legal. we live in a country where the death penalty is legal. You understand? There's nothing unconstitutional about it. And even if there is, you need to take that up and make that somehow law. You're not going to get it done in this case. We're not going to all of a sudden, in this case, determine that, I mean, I guess it's possible. You got to make the arguments. We're not going to make it, it's not going to happen. Like, in this case, we're not all of a sudden going to be like, nah, you know what, man, death penalty, it makes them feel bad. And it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen, nor should it. Once again, I'm not saying Kohberger did this, but if he did do it, then bon voyage, bitch, it's all over for you. You're dead. It's out of there. You're dead. The state's going to put you to sleep, as they should. Right or wrong. I get it, the liberals are going to be like, no, we don't, whatever. Go cry to Kamala. That's right. Make the death penalty great again. I'm JB Gunner. This is JB. This is crime time. Anyways, let me know what you think, though, honestly. All jokes aside, let me know what you think, honestly. I think this was a horrible argument. I understand why she did it. And it was really cringy and weird to have this argument while Bryan Kohberger is just standing there still alive. You're still innocent, right? If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel, and I will see you in the next video, man. The next video should be the Richard Allen verdict video. I'm waiting. I know you guys are too.